frozen in midair.
Now clearly, if a bird is not moving, riding a current of air, or flapping its wings, it would drop. It is a physical object with weight, and gravity will pull it down. But that's not happening here. I want to know why.
Now, what makes this even stranger is we've seen this sort of thing before. These floating birds have been seen in Los Angeles, and we've actually seen them on this program before.
Hello, this is Sid Wheaton coming to you from the edge of oblivion.
It's certainly weird and freaky.
It is May the 7th,
5 months later, in Troutbeck, England,
2025,
a similar incident is captured on camera.
and I
by
thought
a
I
man
would give
named
you
Roy
like kind
Davis
of a psychic
when he notices
weather
hundreds of sheep
report.
on a hillside that seem to be.
I have to tell you, I'm a little bit high, and
And if you think this is merely a photo,
that may affect me some way, but anyhow,
you can actually see the minor
you wouldn't be
movement
listening to this
of
if
one
you
of the
cared
sheep's
much, a
ears
whole lot about
here.
that, and I'll try to nevertheless be
It's
interesting.
not natural for all animals in a group to remain
It was,
completely stationary at the same time. Maybe they'll freeze for a second if they
Actually, I'd call it a low energy
but they're
day.
not going to just freeze and stand stone cold.
There weren't
still for
a
any
lot
length
of
time. There's something
striking,
just not right about it.
Momentous news stories
there's
that
more.
broke, or
It happens again.
there were,
in
to
Krasnoyarsk,
the best of my
Russia,
knowledge, there weren't any major
September
calamities,
2020,
and if there were,
when
please
Daniel Chicharev
excuse me, but
bends down to
I
feed a
just don't
squirrel
know
some
about them.
nuts.
But like, I don't
And
think
then
there were like
suddenly,
any earthquakes or tsunamis or tornadoes or anything like that. It was actually pretty
Stay
quiet.
so still. In this
It's nice when the
situation, I
world is
just
quiet.
can't figure it out. It looks like a light goes off in its head and it just shuts down. Stay so still. In this situation, I just can't figure it out.
Ah, there we go. Yeah, I watch the spooky shows late at night because I get so sick of the news, because I listen to the news during the day, which is important to me. I'm interested. I want to know what's going on. I have money in the market. Fuck. And but by this time of night, it's like I've heard it all like 5,000 times over and over and over. I got it memorized. I know what your problem is. You know, whatever. And so I switched to the spooky shows, you know, the ghosts and haunts and ghost hunters and you know, all those haunted adventures. The Travel Channel runs. The Travel Channel ought to rename itself the Ghost Haunting Channel. Sorry, I'm burping a little bit. Yeah, smoke. Yeah, it's a bad habit. I've quit a half a dozen times. I swear to God, completely quit, and I always go back to it. So I'm closing on 73, and I haven't got lung cancer yet, and I haven't had a heart attack. So I'm going to smoke cigarettes, and I know that's wrong. I'm not really setting an example for anybody. Don't take this up. But, you know, kiddies, professional on a race course, don't try this at home. But, yeah, I do. I smoke. It gives me a lot of satisfaction. This smoking calms me. nicotine is basically a stimulant, and I don't know if I'm a little ADHD or something like that, or have one of those related complexes, but the stimulant of the cigarette, I can take Ritalin, and it calms me down. So that tells you something. It doesn't jag me up. Ritalin will just mellow me out, which is what it's supposed to do. That's actually that's the correct application of Ritalin is to calm people that have this nervous disorder, and to let them function. I don't need it day to day. I don't take it, but I've tried it. It was nice. I could get a prescription for that for sure. And please stand by. I feel that there's a crisis building in our country. I drink whiskey too. There's a crisis building in our country. There are pressures that will demand to be resolved, and I can't see how all that's going to unwind real nicely, like with nobody getting hurt. That's what I feel like's coming. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's us getting ugly with each other, or the climate getting very bad. To me, one of the worst things about the Trump administration is that they're just doing a full-on attack on the planet. They are suspending every rule and regulation that we put in to try to help the planet, to fight greenhouse gases, to do all that wonderful stuff. And they're undoing it all as fast as they can. And it really is drill baby drill, even though we don't need to be drilling any more oil. America is already the largest producer of petroleum in the whole fucking world. And we need it. That's stupid. I'm not going to say we don't need it. But we do need to be finding ways to use less of it. Because it is superheating the atmosphere. It's plain and simple. If we weren't putting all these fumes out, the air would be cooler. That's a science. You don't have to trust me. Just look it up. And that's one of the worst things they're doing. That's going on. There's a lot of trials of men acting badly. P. Diddy, Harvey Weinstein. there's probably others I can't name. And that's cool with me. You know, if you want to creep out on a girl and do all this nasty shit without her consent, yeah, you ought to get hammered for that. Sure, somebody ought to make you pay, and so it doesn't bother me a bit. Men. One of the things that's not talked about enough is the crisis of masculinity. There's a crisis of masculinity. Men don't know how to be men anymore. I don't know how the tradition's gotten lost, but it has. And now men are struggling to understand what it means to be male, and you know, all the cultural cliches tell it, well, men is strong, you know, men is violent, men is controlling, men is domineering. And you know, that's, you know, you look at any kind of movie with a hero, a male hero in it, and that's the thing, is, you know, how does this guy dominate the entire situation? And that's kind of our underlying model of masculinity, which is just like, it's totally toxic. To be honest, it's just totally toxic. We've got a lot of work to do on that. Otherwise, the evening seems fairly peaceful. I'm not having a whole lot of psychic disturbances or anything like that. The aliens aren't talking to me. So I'm going to wrap this up for now.